Hi, I'm Karen Russell, and this is Kristen Carmela. We're here at Yoga NoHo Center in North Hollywood going over our postures. And we're going to go into Setu Bandha Sarvangasana, one of my favorite postures, bridge pose. So she's going to start by laying on her back. This posture is so wonderful because anybody can do it. There's some modifications, but let's talk about our alignment. So even here, so you want to make sure the ankle and the knee are in line. So sometimes, depending on your body type, it varies on how far the ankle is from your buttocks. But sometimes you might hear someone say, you just touch the ankles a little bit, okay? Now, in this posture, we have a tendency to flare our feet out. We just do. Most people will. So be aware of that. Make sure the sides of the feet are in line with the side of the mat. And I always tell people to kind of pigeon toe just a little bit. It might help, okay? Then the navel draws in, right? The frontal hip bones lift up. There's a natural curve in the low back. You're not pressing the low back into the mat, so let that natural curve happen. And she's going to actually work her shoulder blades under a little bit, just a little bit under. And press her palms and hands down. On an inhalation, she'll inhale, press down, and lift the hips up. Now, as she lifts the hips up, the action is drawing the navel in and the flesh the buttocks to the knees and lift up a little bit more. And you'll get that little lift by pressing down through the hands and the forearms a little bit more. The chin should be soft, so the chin should be not too far tucked, too far back, right? Lifting up. Now, if she wants to go a little deeper, she could start clasping her hands behind her, working the shoulder blades under a little bit more, and pressing up a little bit more. Now, notice the knees will flare out a little bit, so draw the knees in, Kristen, yep. And then draw the chin back a little bit. The gaze is soft, very, very soft, right? And this is a great heart opener. It gets into the pelvis, it releases the low back. And there's very little risk in this posture as this is. Take a nice deep breath and you open up the heart as you root down. And then just like all these other postures, you want to come out of it with rolling down one vertebra at a time and see how that feels. Actually, if you do that a few times, that will really activate the spine. Rolling down one vertebra at a time. So now, Kristen, grab the block and just put it between your thighs for a second. So you can test that hugging in feeling, making sure the knees don't flare out. So remember, the power of back bends and heart openers a lot of times comes from thighs, right? So this might help you just feel that. So now she's going to go through her checkpoints. She'll work the shoulder blades under. That's a nice little trick to work the shoulder blades under before you even come up. She inhales, she presses down to come up and lift the heart and the hips and scoop the tailbone. Yep. So when you come up, try to come from a low place, scoop the tailbone and then go from there, right? So remember, it's nice to understand of coming in and out of the postures from a very grounded place. So she presses down through the feet, draws the navel in, right? And pushes the hips forward, and then the heart starts to unravel and open. Then she, even here, as she keeps squeezing the block, see how does that feel, right? So right away she's getting the activation in the thighs, which is that's what you need. And then take a few breaths, and like I said, she can clasp her hands behind her if she wants to get a little deeper. She's working the shoulders. It's very helpful that she is, pressing the feet into the earth. Pressing the feet into the earth, squeezing that block a little bit more. Kristen, see how that feels? Yeah. Take a nice deep breath. Try to lift a little bit more. How do you lift in the heart? By drawing the navel in and pushing the hips forward. And as you exhale, come out of it, rolling down one vertebra at a time, which is really nice. and then relax. You can remove the block. So there's one more with bridge pose that I love is supported bridge. So supported bridge pose is exactly what we're doing, but she's gonna take the block, and let's show the different angles of the block. So there's the low, there's the medium, and then there's the high. So I wouldn't do the high unless you have a very flexible back. But most of us, I would start with the low. And where the block is placed is really important. The block is placed is on the sacrum, right? And that's that flat triangle part of your low back. It's kind of where your butt crack starts. That's where the end of the block happens. I know I just don't have any other better way of saying it, so that it really releases the low back. So what she's gonna do, she's gonna check her checkpoints. She's gonna root down, inhale, lift up the hips, and she's gonna slide the block right at the sacrum and really make sure that the buttocks can release. And you'll start to get a really nice release. Sometimes this will help with your menstrual cycle. This will relieve backache and pain. This is supported bridge, right? So we're using the block to support this posture. You also have an option to extend the legs if you want. Now, I only suggest to extend the legs if you feel okay with that extra hip opening, right? Making sure the shoulders are rooted into the earth, the chin is soft, the gaze is soft. So supported, this is a wonderful posture for nighttime. Like say before you're gonna go to sleep, release the low back. So regular bridge, we'll go through the checkpoints of regular bridge. So can you bend your knees and then press down to lift the hips up and remove the block? And we'll just go through the basic points of Setu, Bandha, Sarvangasana, bridge pose. So first checkpoint, just make sure ankle in line with the knee. Sometimes it's said that you can touch your back of your heels. Make sure, most important though, that the feet are parallel and that your knees are not too spurred out. Take a moment and draw the navel in, flesh the buttocks, releases down. But make sure that the curve in your low back, the natural curve, you're not pushing in the low back. And then start to work the shoulder blades. That's a little trick. So work the shoulder blades underneath, and then inhale, press down to lift up. Option to stay here or take your hands and clasp behind. Now make sure that when you do that, the chin doesn't lock down. So draw the back of the head into the mat and lift the chin, and then breathe. And then as you release, as always, come out of the posture with the same integrity. Release the hands if your hands are there, and roll down one vertebra at a time. You'll feel this amazing stretch. So that is Setu, Bandha, Sarvangasana, bridge pose, with also the option of supported bridge.